Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Psycho Karen in the store is not an uncommon event. In our first story, OP was lucky that his boss stood up for him when Karen started overreacting because the level of stupidity was starting to go off the scale. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Karen shouts and screams at me and gets banned from the store. Cast. Me is me. D, my boss and the owner of the store. K, Karen. Background. I'm a 17-year-old male who works at a liquor store. I can only stock shelves and clean the store. I cannot sell the stuff. Very important. This happened on a Tuesday when I'm the only person stocking the shelves and cooler working. Small establishment. Story. It was around 5 o'clock when this happened. A delivery just came in and I was putting some wine away when I hear K. I turn around and there, not 1 foot away from my face with a mask on thankfully, was Karen. She had the classic haircut and everything. Me. Yes, ma'am. How can I help you? K. Where is Brand X beer? Me. I don't know if we have it. Let me go check. Remember, a delivery was literally going on around us. You could see guys putting beer in the cooler, hand trucks. K. Shouldn't you know if you have it? You do work here, right? Me. Yes, ma'am, I do work here, but we have a delivery going on and I don't know if it's coming in or not. Just give me 1 sec, please. I don't find the beer and go tell her as so. K. Whatever, I'll find something else. Karen storms off and I'm looking after her like, WTF, lady? Whatever, I'm stocking shelves and need to get back to work. 5 minutes later, she walks up to me. K. Here, take this and check me out. Me. I can't, ma'am, I'm not old enough. I put the beer on the desk next to the checkout counter and start to walk away. K. Unbelievable! She starts shouting here. You are an idiot and are effing stupid if you don't know your own product. I'll make sure you get fired. She continues to yell and shout profanities at me until D, my boss, comes up. D. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to stop yelling and cussing or I'll ask you to leave. What's going on here? K. Your employee here, she points at me, will not serve me. He should be fired. If he does not know the product, I want him fired. I start to freak out a bit as this was my first job, and in the state I'm in, I make $11, rounding down, not including the extra like 16 cents here, an hour, and work 25 hours a week because of summer. I make about $430, which is amazing paycheck for a first job. D. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave if you keep shouting at my staff, as we have a no employee harassment rule. He can't sell you beer because he's not old enough. I'm going to ask you to stop and come with me so I can check you out. K. I will not stop until this employee is fired. I want to speak to your manager. D. I own this business, and I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Your behavior is unacceptable. Leave your beer at the counter, and please leave the store or I'll call the police. K. Fine. You guys are a bunch of effing idiots anyways. I will leave you a 1-star review, and I will never come back. D. Good. You're no longer welcome here. Come back again and we'll turn you away. Karen walks out the door, but looks at me one last time and says, K. You're a effing idiot. She walks away, and my boss and I have a little chuckle and go back to work. I figured someone would come in and be a Karen, but I've been working since the beginning of this year, 2020, and nothing has happened until today, of course. I'm glad your boss stood up for you and banned this crazy Karen. I mean, you don't deserve to be treated like this just because it was your first job. And our next story. A short time does not mean you can go on a cruise. It was about 10 years ago when I was married to my second and last wife, now ex-wife. I'm a chef and she worked retail. We weren't rich, but we were doing well for ourselves. We each owned our own cars, shared all the money equally because it didn't matter who made more than the other. We were married, so everything was equal. She wanted to take some classes, and instead of working her retail job, she would babysit for extra income, and I was all for it. If that's what made her happy, go for it. After she got settled with her classes, we put out ads for her babysitting side job. I know what she was offering for the price she was asking was much lower than daycare by a lot, but she wasn't in it for the money. She just loves kids. She took on 3 kids, 4 years old to an 8-year-old. The other was 5 years old, if I remember correctly. All the kids were good, and we had a large fenced-in backyard they could play in with lots of kids' toys, and snacks were provided. Most of the parents were friendly and came in to pick up or drop off their kids. One mother, though, would come in and just say, "See you later," to her little girl, the 5-year-old, and walk away. No kiss, no I love you, nothing. My ex took in kids from 2:30 p.m. when the younger kids would get out of their respective schools. Kindergarten or preschool? Not sure what it was called. Then from 3 p.m. on for the older girl. Things seemed to be going well and my ex was happy. Then one Monday morning, not afternoon like the schedule said, the entitled mother drops her daughter off. My ex was in classes, so she was lucky it was my day off. I said I would watch her until my ex was done and then she'll take over. She just shrugged like it was nothing and set a duffel bag just inside the door. I had never been a part of this except to talk to the kids and entertain them now and then, so I didn't know the drop-off/pickup procedures. Then, like always, the mother just turned and walked away. When my ex got out of her classes and saw the girl, she asked where her mom or dad was. She said, "Mommy's going away for a few days." She said, "I'm staying here with you." Immediately, my ex started calling the girl's mother, only for it to go straight to voicemail. She had a listing for another number listed as Dad. It went to voicemail as well. So my ex watched all 3 kids like usual, and the parents of the other 2 kids came on time and left. This little girl usually got picked up at 6:30 p.m., but not that day. That time came and went. Then 8:30. Then it was close to 10 p.m. The entire time, my ex was calling these numbers with the same results. Nothing but voicemail. By this time, the little girl had fallen asleep and we put her in the spare room. The ex called the police to let them know what's going on, but said we'll keep her with us for now until we reach the mother. After many tries to both numbers with no better results, I went onto Facebook and found this woman's profile. I was going to look for a family member or a contact we could call. As soon as the homepage came up, my jaw hit the floor. There was a picture of them on a cruise ship deck as it was leaving port. I called in my ex to see, and she was as flabbergasted as I was. Going through her friends list, I saw her mother. I contacted her to let her know what was happening, and someone had to come pick this girl up. We didn't sign up for that. Her mother told us she would be there as soon as she could. After close to 2 hours, the grandmother showed up to collect the little girl. But she wasn't alone. She brought the little girl's father. By the way, the girl squealed out, "Daddy!" then ran and hugged him. I knew it had been a while since they saw each other. We invited them in for coffee, and the grandmother told us the story. From what she told us, her daughter had taken her daughter and ran off with some rich guy and didn't tell anyone where she was. The guy on the cruise was the man she was cheating with and not her husband. The father had called the police from our place and had them come there for proof of abandonment by the mother. I showed the officer the Facebook photo dated just the night before. He got the father and grandmother to go with him to the police station to fill out the paperwork, but took our statements at our house. We signed them and they were gone. We never heard from the mother for the next 3 weeks and thought it was odd she wouldn't call to go nuclear on us. Then a couple days later, we had an excited banging on the door. When I opened it, I saw the father beaming with joy, holding his daughter's hand. I invited them in and he filled us in on the juicy details. She made big money and he was a stay-at-home dad. In the last year, she'd been distancing herself from him. When he confronted her, she said he was delusional. Later on, he drove to the store to pick up some odds and ends, but when he got home, she and his daughter were gone. All there was a note saying goodbye, and he'll never see either of them again. And the police seemed useless. She started an affair while they were still together. Around the same time, she started acting different, but he didn't clue in. After she ran off, he took the note to her mother, who did everything she could to help, but her daughter was ignoring her too. She even hired someone to find her. It was just by chance we found them, and they couldn't believe their luck. The father said the mother got some major and some minor charges, including child abandonment, possession of a controlled substance, resisting arrest, vehicle theft. I guess she rented a car at one airport and never left the keys with it, nor told anyone where she parked it because she wasn't answering her calls or texts. The reason for this? They left their phones home so they wouldn't get bothered on the trip. I don't remember all the charges, and I may have gotten one or more of those ones wrong too, but the father said he now has 100% custody of his daughter. The mother got in the area of 16 years in total. She was also ordered by the court to have zero contact indefinitely or until she finishes her jail time and extensive therapy. The father was also awarded the house and all assets because he didn't have an income or way to support his daughter. The other man she went on the cruise with owned a smallish company with his wife. When this all came out, she started proceedings for a divorce, and since the company was started by her family and he didn't buy into it, it all went to her. She was also taking him to court for more things too. In the end, he had nothing, and she had it all. He wasn't charged with any of the wrongdoings because he wasn't there to drop the little girl off. My ex was sad to be losing such a sweet little girl, but they stayed in contact. As far as I know, they're still in contact. The dad got a job with the kitchen I work in as a server. I didn't get him the job, he did that all himself. I only put in a good word with my boss. I'm long gone from that place, but he's now a co-owner now and still goes in every day and serves tables. All tips he normally would make, he gives to the bus boys and girls and hosts and hostesses because they're part-time high school kids who wouldn't get tips. I hope her cruise was worth it. I thought this would have something to do with OP's ex, but it was a better story than I expected. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.